Daraya in the Damascus countryside remains the main front in the battle for Syria. Sources have told us that the Syrian military has made advancements in this area and has managed to completely clean out the suburb of Ard al-Khalij. This suburb lies at a very close distance to the Mazzi military airport. Also in Daraya, clashes have erupted around the Sayyida Sukaina shrine. In Aqraba, which is another area in the Damascus countryside, Press TV has been informed that locals have returned to this area after it was cleared of armed opposition fighters. Aqraba is located just next to the highway leading to Damascus International Airport, meaning government forces have now taken control of this route after it was the scene of fierce clashes. Remaining in the Damascus countryside, protests have taken place in the area of Al-Ghouta al-Sharqiyya against armed opposition elements. Demonstrators have demanded the deployment of armed troops in the area, which led to clashes with opposition fighters, leaving an unknown number of protesters dead. Inside Damascus itself, the Syrian military has eliminated a number of opposition fighters near the Sayyida Zainab shrine, but armed opposition fighters remain in that area. Elsewhere, Syrian military sources have informed us that the army has succeeded in countering a number of cross-border attacks in the city of Homs near the Lebanese border. Armed rebels had attempted to launch these attacks from the Lebanese area of Tal Kalakh, which is known to be an area full of March 14 supporters. The March 14 alliance is a staunch enemy of Assyrian leadership. Also in Homs, the Syrian military has been able to advance in the area of Hula, which is in the city's countryside. The city of Hama, meanwhile, is the hotbed of Jabhat al-Nusra, which is known to be the extremist Al-Qaeda affiliated group that has taken responsibility for numerous suicide bombings, including a recent one that killed 42 people in Hama. The Syrian army is continuing the fight against Jabhat al-Nusra in this city. Syrian army sources have also announced the killing of Taysir Mustafa Sha'ban, also in Hama. Sha'ban is the head of an armed opposition group called Al-Farouq Brigades. In the city of Dar'a, hundreds of armed opposition elements have been killed in an area called Busr al-Harir, with the Syrian army stating that this area has been completely cleared out. In Aleppo, Syrian official sources have said that the armed opposition has buried a number of its fighters who were killed by the Syrian army in an area called Hayy al-Sukkari. These sources say the opposition aims to use this in order to accuse the government of creating mass graves. Now going to the foreign side, Israel has clearly come into the game. Israel, which has described the leadership of Bashar al-Assad as part of an axis of evil, has bombed a research center in the area of Jumraya. This comes after Israel deployed Iron Dome batteries on the border with Syria.
Ali Risk, our Beirut correspondent there, giving us the latest about the fight between Syrian forces and militants. Now, Israeli warplanes have violated Lebanon's airspace for yet another time. The fighter jets have been seen flying from southern Lebanon towards the eastern Bekaa Valley bordering Syria. There are no reports of airstrikes. Israeli planes frequently fly over southern Lebanon, prompting Beirut to file complaints with the UN. Israel's latest violation of Lebanon's airspace comes 2 days after it launched an airstrike on a research center northwest of the Syrian capital, Damascus. Syria has threatened retaliation, while Iran, Russia, as well as the Arab League have strongly condemned the attack.